Have you ever had a story idea that sounds good in your head, but the moment you try to explain it, it just kind of falls flat? Or worse, you can't even tell if it's a strong idea or not. That's usually not a writing problem. It's a concept problem. Because before plot, before characters, before anything else, your story needs a strong foundation. And that foundation is your high concept. So, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what a high concept is, why it matters so much, and how to create one that actually grabs attention, whether you're pitching your novel, writing a blurb, or just trying to figure out if your idea works. Let's simplify this as much as possible by defining what we're talking about. A high concept is a story idea that's easy to understand and instantly intriguing. It's something you can explain in 1 or 2 sentences and people immediately get it. But most importantly, it builds curiosity. A lot of people think high concept just means big or dramatic. It doesn't. It means clear and compelling. So instead of a vague idea like a woman discovers secrets about her past, a high concept version might be a woman discovers she's been erased from every official record and someone is trying to make sure it stays that way. Now there's tension, there's a question, there's a hook. That's the difference. Here's the truth. If your core idea isn't strong, then no amount of beautiful writing is going to fix it, because the concept is what hooks the readers, grabs attention, makes someone click, pick up your book, or keep reading. It's also what helps you as a writer, because a strong concept gives you direction. It makes plotting easier. It sharpens your focus. It keeps your story from drifting. And if you ever want to pitch your work to an agent, a publisher, or even just your audience, you need to be able to explain your story clearly. That's what a high concept allows you to do. So what are the core elements of a high concept? Well, a strong high concept usually has 3 key ingredients. First, a clear protagonist. We need to know who the story is about. Second, a unique or intriguing situation. What's happening that makes this story different? And third, stakes or tension. What's at risk? Why does it matter? Let me give you a few examples. Take this idea, for instance. A man seeks revenge. That's not high concept. It's too generic. But if you shift it slightly, a man who was wrongfully imprisoned escapes and systematically takes revenge on the people who betrayed him using a hidden fortune and a new identity. Now it's specific, it's vivid, it raises questions. Or something like a spy completes dangerous missions versus a spy with no memory must complete a mission while being hunted by the very agency that trained him. See how much more compelling that feels? You don't need complexity. You need clarity with a twist. So, how do you actually come up with a high concept? Start with your basic idea, no matter how rough it is. Then ask yourself, what's the most interesting version of this? Can I add a twist, a contradiction, a high-stakes situation? Let's say your starting idea is a woman moves to a small town. Okay, that's a premise, but not a hook. Now let's build it. A woman moves to a small town where everyone is hiding something. Better, but still vague. Now push it further. A woman moves to a small town where everyone shares the same secret, and if she discovers it, she won't be allowed to leave. Now we're getting somewhere. The key is to keep refining until the idea creates curiosity. Another technique is to use contrast. Take two things that don't normally go together and combine them. For example, a historian who can physically enter memories must solve a murder that hasn't happened yet. There's tension built into the concept itself. One of the biggest mistakes is being too vague. If your idea could apply to 100 different stories, then it's not specific enough. Another issue is overcomplicating things. A high concept should be simple to explain, even if the story itself is complex. And finally, trying to make the concept do everything. It doesn't need to include every subplot or character. It just needs to capture the core of what makes your story interesting. Now, here's one important thing to keep in mind. A strong concept helps, but it's not everything. Execution still matters. You can have an amazing idea and still write a weak story. But the reverse is also true. It's much harder to make a weak concept feel exciting, no matter how well it's written. So think of high concept as your starting advantage. It gives your story momentum before the reader even turns the first page. So if you're struggling with your story, don't just look at your writing. Look at your concept. Ask yourself, is this clear? Is it specific? Does it spark curiosity? Because when your idea is strong, everything else becomes easier. If you want, drop your story idea in the comments. I'd be happy to help you refine it into a stronger high concept. And if you found this helpful, feel free to like the video and subscribe for more writing tips. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.